are Champions of Slaanesh, infantry blenders in Ties of Torment. That's rhetorical, they are blender units, buzzsaws and then some. In some senses, acting like T'Challa mini-me's. They bring arms to the fight, multiple arms. Let's dig into the stats and see what they can do with all of that. Recruited for 1750 gold and 438 upkeep, this gets you 16 champions on Ultra scale, with 7,840 health between them. They come with armor of 60, with missile block chance of 30% of small arms, missile fire from the front, almost as good as basic infantry with actual shield, not for whirling blades. Basic infantry don't get physical resistance of 20%, but these do because they move fast. Leadership of 75 is very solid. Speed 65 is pretty brisk, and charge speed of 130, yikes. They close those funnel gaps fast. Melee attack stands at 52, with every blow being magical attack. Attack interval is 4 seconds, and there is no splash damage. None. This is highly, highly unusual, because these are large entities. Melee defense starts at 55, a stupidly high figure. Weapon strength 100 is split base 42 and armor piercing 58, with a bonus versus infantry of 20, raising both melee attack and weapon strength against infantry by that amount. Charge bonus is 40, and mass is 1200 per entity. This siege attacker has causes fear, hide in forest, strider so no force penalties, and devastating flanker for extra juicy charges from the flank and rear. Yeah, so how does that profile work out in reality? It basically guarantees that each and every swing kills a normal Empire swordsman, with quite a lot of overkill potential. That'll be a little less guaranteed when fighting really high-end infantry, but they still have an awful lot of ability to swiftly chew into enemy units with kills rather than simply inflicting damage. Now, new to my videos, when I actually notice there's a valid ROR, I'll do the Regiment of Renown version, in this case, the Pleasure Guard. That's because few people watch standalone ROR videos, and I want to add more value to my videos. So, recruited for 1900 gold and 475 upkeep, missile block chance is increased from 30% to 40%, leadership is 85, and that is a reflection of being a permanent rank 9 unit. Melee attack is 64 or 12 better, and remains magical attack. Melee defense is likewise 67 or 12 better. Weapon strength, which doesn't change with rank, is 120 instead of 100, split base 52 and armor piercing 68, so both got raised by 10. Bonus versus infantry 25 instead of 20, charge bonus 50 instead of 40, and mass of 1200 again. The unit is actually unbreakable, so the leadership never wavers, and has unyielding assault, so melee attack never falters below the amount it arrives with at the start of battle, be it from fatigue or spells or whatever. I have misread this in the past, so I stand corrected. Bottom line, it's just plain better. In the Nakari-style redline skills, Frenzied Revelry at 3 pips, at speed plus 12%, and charge bonus plus 18%. At rank 7 and above, Secret Keeper would provide plus 5 leadership, plus 5 melee defense, and bonus versus infantry plus 7. I expect that for Mortal Lords, Monstrous Strength provides plus 10% weapon strength, and plus 8 melee attack at 3 pips, since there's no demonic banishment, so they must be mortal-ish. At rank 7 and above, Freakish Mutation should provide leadership plus 8, melee attack plus 5, again, and ward save plus 5%. For the Slaanesh tech tree, Slaanesh Fighters gives non-demonic units plus 6 leadership, Overbearing Force offers plus 10% weapon strength and, interestingly, plus 10% ward save, and Mortal Obsession gives its usual upkeep and global recruitment time reductions. So how do we use Champions of Slaanesh? Well, they're interesting. They're not invincible. I sent them against Chosen of Khorne and they won, but it was a rough go of it. What you see is that their mass is such that the initial charge tends to knock a lot on its rear end, and even regular footlords get slapped down a lot, for good and bad alike. They are large targets, so they'll have a worse time attacking, let's say, Celestial Dragon Guard, and their charges can be denied by the proper units as usual, but devastating flanker and a little work, and you can get around a lot of problems. It's an interesting elite unit. I have some idea what people will say. Oh my god, another anti-infantry Slaanesh unit. But they're pretty good at it. And the profile, like slender dodging trolls just lacking the splash damage effect, works out in their favor enough of the time that I see nothing wrong with using them in anger on the field of battle. They're handy, I'll give them that. And yes, that was a pun. I'm not prepared to say that trolls would be deadlier if you just eliminated their splash damage, but it's interesting that on these units it can be very deadly because they'll be focused, and yet they are underkilling a good deal of normal targets, so the ideal spectacular way to use them is very simple. Soften stuff up with a spell first, like Lash of Slaanesh, then send them crashing in, or use them in tandem with other stuff that'll do enough chip damage or splash damage or both, and the carnage will be beautiful. More to the point, even if they're not anti-large specifically, good luck running over them with cavalry and chariots. They'll outduel quite a lot of that stuff completely. So while not invincible, they sure take some elite company to put real hurt into efficiently. Also, it's harder to do it with missiles when they get into melee this nicely. Take care and have fun championing hedonism and deviancy. Well, it fits the unit, but this is fiction, folks. Fiction!